Drama City Productions presents.
You are plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA-related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PODWRES Society so that you can stay in the know.
Faith is the place, and the sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the
one and only
Troy Adams.
This is the Podcast Wrestling Society, and we are the masters and rulers of the universe. Thank you for joining the Society. I am your loving leader, benevolent host, and Midwest monster. I am Psycho Troy Adams. And joining the Society here today, he is one of the least recognizable members of the Four Horsemen. He's right above Paul Roma, but right below Brian Pillman. He is Greg Justice. What up, Greg?
What up? Man, I'd rather be Greg Justice than freaking Paul Roma, I'll tell you.
Oh,
who should have been the next Ric Flair, by the way.
Ric Flair wanted to be him, all right?
Yeah,
hey,
true.
That's Ric Flair's trying to overcompensate by having that rap song for himself and all that other stuff. Like, where's the Paul Roma dip? That's what I want to know. Where is the rap songs being made about Paul freaking Roma? You know, the job guy from WWE.
And Four Horsemen, member of the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
God, it's sad that we're not joking about that. It's funny that you bring that up because that's some crap that would fit right into what we're talking about today.
Well, those were some dark times back during JCP, Jim Crockett Promotions, for those of you that don't know. But yeah, we are not going to be talking about the Jim Crockett Promotions era of WCW and /NWA. And we are not going to be talking about the rise of Nitro and all that. No. We are going to start in on the downfall of Nitro and WCW as a whole, where they took a once respected brand that Eric Bischoff built from the ground up and made something that was must-see TV, and they just took a big old dump on it. And I stand by that Vince McMahon could have walked out in the middle of the ring halfway through Raw and just started, like, you remember that SmackDown where Eddie Guerrero came out in that septic tank truck or whatever and just, like, blew crap all over the Big Show?
Vividly.
Okay. Him and his cousin Chewy. I'm not joking, by the way. It's not a racist thing. That really happened. Go back and check it out if you don't believe me. But anyway, Vince McMahon could have done that to the audience on a weekly basis, and I still think Raw would have been beating Nitro like a drum in the ratings.
Oh, man.
And you lucky son of a gun, you
unnamed goat,
you put yourself through this torture of watching this show week in and week out.
For the listeners.
Yeah, you did it for the fans. I
did it for the people.
Yeah, I did it for The Rock. But you did it for the people. And, well, you know, the next step of this, right after the show, you know what the next step of that is, right, Greg?
Hit someone with a car, right?
Yeah, we got to find a bald dude with a goatee and hit that dude with a car.
Run him over, bro.
He'll never see it coming, bro.
Getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. Oh, my God. But yeah, today we are talking about the Russo era, bro, and
part 1.
Yeah, part 1 of at least 2. We'll see how in depth we get into this. It's going to be a wild ride, bro. All right, just to set the stage for everybody before we full on dive into this here.
Head first. No looking back.
Into a pile of crap. On September 16th, 1999, Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara signed with WCW.
Oklahoma,
yeah, Russo contends that his reason for leaving WWF was a result of a dispute with Vince McMahon over the increased workload caused by the introduction of the new SmackDown broadcast and McMahon's disregard of Russo's family. Russo and Ferrara attempted to make the same Crash TV style on Monday Nitro, which was similar to Raw is War, only at an accelerated pace, including edgier storylines, more lengthy non-wrestling segments, constant heel-face turns, and increased amounts of sexuality on the show, fake retirements, more backstage vignettes, expanded storyline depth, title changes, and the utilization of mid-card talent in a more effective manner. Russo and Ferrara often focused on poking fun at the WWF.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that.
Yeah, all of that. So, basically, setting it up a little bit further, as soon as Russo came in, he decided to make himself an on-screen character, which
of course he did.
Yeah, because his whole thing, and if any of you poor unfortunate souls have read his book, I believe it's called Forgiven.
By who?
Yeah, I know. Certainly not by Jim Cornette. That's
Mother effer.
Oh my gosh. Boil in oil and sell the fat for soap. God dang it. But anyway, yeah, in his book, he goes on and on and on about credit. He wants more credit. He wants there to be credits at the beginning and ends of shows, like, like in Hollywood and everything for like big movies and shows and whatever. There's always credits, and he wants that to be a thing, and that wasn't a thing in wrestling. But he wants everybody to know that was him and his creation. I made this. I did that. I had input in this. Yada yada yada. So of course he's going to throw himself on screen here. Well, for any of you that want to follow along with us here, you can watch this all on the WWE Network for only $9.99 a month, I might add. And
if you order it, Vince McMahon is going to personally call you at some point. Thank you.
He'll call you up and ask you if you're a big sweaty man, pal. But we are starting on the episode of Nitro. It is October 18th, 1999. As a heads up, the main event is a total package, not the total package Lex Luger, just the total package with Elizabeth versus
I believe
Goldberg.
That may be a Russo thing, actually. So
yeah, just look at that total package. All right. For all of you, just on the flip side, on the other side, we will be going back and forth between Raw and Nitro. The main event on Raw for the WWF Tag Team Championships, the Rock and Sock Connection were defending the titles against the Holly Cousins that night. That was the main event on Raw.
Yeah.
So
I remember that match.
I do not. That just sounds not bad, just odd. I don't know. But then again, the Rock and Sock were freaking odd. So, anyway, you got two big beefy men closing out the show on one side, and you got kind of like a good / comedy tag team title match on the other side.
You Crash and Hardcore were big beefy men, dude. They were allegedly well over 400 pounds.
I forgot about that. God dang it. All right. Well, anyway, let's get into it, bro. What you got for us starting out here?
All right, I got to start out by saying this, and this may shock you and some people, but I don't think this part one of Russo's thing was as bad as people make it out to be. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of crap, but when compared to part two, this is not that bad. So,
well, yeah,
watch.
The crap just kind of like built up as it started rolling down the hill. So
I feel like part two, and I'm getting close to it. By the way, I think I just finished Uncensored 2000, and he's about to come back. Now I got a feeling like in the second part he has a lot more freedom. I feel like. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
the chains are coming off.
All right. October 18th. So I'm not going to go over all the results. I'm just going to go over the changes I saw and like the stupid stuff. Right. So for the vast majority of WCW Nitro, their bread and butter, the best part was the cruiserweights.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm seeing a match, Evan Courageous and Juventud.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I'm going to start. So, they always kicked it off with like a great match like that. This first one is interrupted by Bret Hart. He comes out crying and whining and basically running down Juventud and Evan saying they suck. So his first night in, he's already burying the cruiserweights, which is, like I said, their bread and butter.
Hell yeah. What better way to capitalize on Bret Hart?
Yeah, right. Another thing I noticed too was Tony Schiavone on air, and we all know about the whole McFoley butts in the seats thing. He was fed that line. I'm almost certain he was fed this one too.
Yeah.
On air, he talks about Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara are part of the WCW creative team, and they wrote tonight's show. So right off the bat, Russo has him breaking babe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not even so much that. It's just like they said that, Tony Schiavone said that.
Yeah. What I'm seeing here, they say commentators inform fans that creative director Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara were debuting their wares that evening. Hooray! As if anybody gives a damn. And not to jump ahead here, but you want to know another way we can tell that they're debuting that night? We've got an evening gown match scheduled for later.
It's coming up. Hold on.
All right.
First thing I noticed too, they take Screaming Norman Smiley and basically make him a Crash Holly ripoff.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking that. I loved it. I'm just pointing it out. It's clearly, Russo's going with what he did over there.
Yep. Well, he did a lot of that same crap in TNA as well. So I'm not shocked.
Yeah. And then I get to the evening gown match. Medusa and Mona, they were both like, I'm not gonna say serious, but like they were just women wrestlers. All of a sudden, he comes in, bam, you got to wear a dress and get naked.
Got to get naked, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, when they got naked, God. I cried, bro.
Yeah, right. Next thing I noticed, like Buff does an interview backstage. Buff Bagwell says there's a new regime and they're totally behind him, and Buff is getting a push. He said these words on TV.
Breaking the fourth wall. Yeah. See, we've got exploitation of women, crapping on little guys and / foreigners, and breaking the fourth wall. Man, right? And throwing his name out there front and center, so everybody knows he has a hand in this. There you go.
Yep.
My God.
Next thing I noticed, Kimberly Page was just a Nitro girl. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I don't know where this came from. It would build up. All of a sudden, she's in a hotel room trying to seduce David Flair in lingerie. Just as out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So he saw her as like, oh, get her naked, bro.
Get a naked bro, put it with David Flair.
The biggest moment of this night, to cap it off for me, was the Buff Bagwell La Parka match. Do you know about this?
I do not.
Okay, so it's Buff Bagwell and La Parka.
Mm-hmm.
I know, that's a marquee match. That's Starrcade main event quality right there.
Whoa. Main event anywhere in the world. Okay, not to steal a line from Brother Love, but seriously.
Oh man, but yeah. So, and remember, Buff was doing that interview in the back. Buff Daddy's getting a push. Yeah. He comes out, and you know how Buff used to have his entrance. He danced, he pointed at the ramp, and the pyro went off.
Yeah.
This time he comes out just looking so serious, so mad, so pissed off. He's got his hands on his hips, gets in the ring, and has the worst ever seen. He's basically, he locks up with La Parka, pushes him back, walks in the corner, just rests, just a whole bunch of crap like that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It goes on and on and on. And then he body slams La Parka, and then he goes to do his pose. He gets down on his knees and poses like he usually does. And he motions to La Parka. He like, come on, do it. Tells him to kick him in the head. La Parka kicks him in the head, pins him, and then Buff immediately gets up, grabs a mic, and then runs down creative and said, they think it's a good idea for me to lose to this guy and all this crap. Yeah, that's Vince Russo's first night. And then that's when Jeff Jarrett debuts and cracks him on the head with the guitar. And it's like, I was at a pay-per-view last night in Ohio, and yeah, Dayton. And he's like, tonight I'm here on Nitro. I'm the chosen one, and all this. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I see. That's where he delivered the I have more stroke than Buff Bagwell could ever imagine.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That and that's the beginning of the gigantic freaking love affair between Jeff Jarrett and Vince Russo that carried on forever.
Probably to this day, we don't know.
No, from what I heard to this day, at this point in time, they do not care for each other. So yeah.
All right. So Jeff Jarrett wised up. Good. Yeah. So that was a night for me.
Real quick.
The rest of the stuff was whatever.
Real quick. One before we move on. I don't want to talk about the match. Too many like go over anything in the match. However, we were just. I used that line. That's a main event anywhere else in the world. I used that line way too early because up next. 2 matches later, I'm seeing Norman Smiley versus Horace Hogan in a hardcore match.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, I didn't really put that on him though because they were already doing the hardcore thing with Norman anyways.
Yeah,
before
but
Russo got there, so.
Yeah, but it's the Big Wiggle versus the Hogan. By the way, I have to ask because you watched the episode. I don't know if it made sense at the time or not. Goldberg versus Total Package, or, the artist formerly known as Lex Luger, in the main event. However, in the middle of the card, we get Sting versus Bret Hart for the world title. Middle of the card.
Yeah. They put it right. This was a 3-hour show, so they put it at an hour and a half in. I'm just assuming that was a power play for ratings, so.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this whole thing, Nitro is 3 hours, by the way.
I completely forgot about that. Good Lord.
Yep.
Hooray! So,
moving on to
anything significant happen the next week?
Yeah, That's what? No, not a lot. First, going to your tournament, bro. That's your
tournaments,
that's your
bro.
So Halloween Havoc was the night before this, and they did a thing. I don't know what happened still to this day, but like Sting comes in to face Hogan. He lays down, lets Hogan pin him. And then him and Hogan walk out together arguing and not at each other, but like kind of pissed. Like, I can't believe we did this and blah, blah. You could just tell,
Yeah.
And later in the night, Sting comes out and says, I came here for a fight and I want to fight and all this. And he has the title in his hand still. And Goldberg comes out and says, okay, here's your fight. And Goldberg wins and he goes off the air with him as a W.
Yeah.
Next night, Sting opens the show. Also, keep in mind, Sting is a heel here, by the way.
No, man. Yeah.
That's not a Russo thing, though. He had turned heel at Fall Brawl before Russo got there, so that's not a Russo thing.
Was that where he was taping his ankles?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think that's when he was like taping up his boots and his ankles. It looked hella weird.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it was this, but I remember that, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he comes out and he calls out J.J. Dillon, who's like the commissioner or something like that.
Yeah.
It says, I said I wanted to fight at the end of the night. I never said anything about it being for the title. And Dillon said, we reviewed it and got a point, but you're no longer the champion. It's held up. So we get a tournament that's going to end at Mayhem. So there you go.
Oh, man.
There's Russo's first fingerprint is the tournament, bro.
Every match is a tournament match, bro. Well, almost every match. I am seeing the main event was the U.S. title tournament, and it was between Bret Hart and Goldberg.
No, it was the world title tournament, but that match was for the U.S. title within the tournament.
That's so freaking weird.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know what was going on the opposite channel that night? Main event, October 25th, 1999 on Raw is War. We got another tag team match closing the show. Holla Holla.
Teddy Long is in charge, I see. Okay.
Right, yeah. It was Steve Austin and The Rock versus the New Age Outlaws. That one, I'm, without being sarcastic, I will say main event anywhere in the world. So.
That's the hottest tag team and two of the biggest names. Yeah,
Yeah, but oh man, yeah, there was a lot of lot of cool stuff happening in WWF at this time. This was when they were really getting hot, and
oh yeah,
So,
well, 99 was one of their best years, yeah. So,
not
the
so
next
much
thing
for
I noticed,
Nitro.
that wasn't that bad, early to mid. Next part I noticed, they have the new team called Creative Control, which is DOA or the Blue Brothers, whatever you want to call them.
Oh.
But they're Creative Control, and their names are Patrick and Gerald, which is a complete play on Pat Patterson and Joe Briscoe.
Mother of God.
Yeah.
That's not even like kind of creative.
Oh, it's going to get better soon. Hold on.
Oh, I bet.
Well, there's another one that's coming up that it's like, wow, okay.
Are we still on October 25th, by the way, or did we move on?
Yeah, we're on October 25th. So.
Okay. There are some good matches that I'm seeing on here. Some bad
like I said,
ones.
this wasn't like, I mean, all the stuff was, none of the stuff you'll see me ripping on is like any of the match quality. Well, maybe a couple, but
I am
very
seeing
little match quality. So
seeing
it was still watchable.
Norman Smiley versus Bam Bam Bigelow and Lash LaRue versus Kurt Hennig. So right there.
Yeah, the Raging Cajun, man, against Mr. Perfect. Come on, dude.
But then they make up for it with Saturn versus Eddie Guerrero, and later we got Benoit versus Malenko.
None of this, what we're going to be discussing, has anything to ripping on talents matches. This is very little of it. So, I want to point that out. The next thing, they debut this new thing from Kidman called the Kid Cam.
Yeah.
Which I look at and I'm like, that's just a ripoff of Shawn Michaels' old Click Cam. So.
Oy vey. Or GTV.
Yeah, right.
There was that.
Then we get Medusa versus Ming because the powers that be are mad at her for not wanting to get naked in that last evening out match. So she's got to wrestle Ming.
We told you shoot naked, bro.
Oh my God. All right, the next thing, we got the Outsiders taking on 3 women. Now,
what the hell?
I'm going to tell you this right off the bat, and not to be stereotypical, but they all look like adult film stars.
The Vegas Vixens.
Yeah.
What?
One of them, like 2 of them look like average women.
Mm-hmm.
One of them comes out with, I'm not joking, 2 basketballs in her shirt. I'm not joking.
Wow.
And they're playing it off as if like they're her natural breasts. Yeah. So
from what I'm reading here, this breakdown, it says, in what some are calling a 5-star match that pitted the technical workings of the Vixens against the cocky and charismatic Outsiders. Vixen number 1 showed why she is a force to be, well, actually not. In perhaps the most unusual match in Nitro history, the Vixens somehow convinced the team of Hall and Nash to lay down in the middle of the ring and take the 3 count.
Yep.
Are you kidding me right now?
Nope. And like Hall and Nash, I think if I remember correctly, they had like beer in their hand when they were walking down the aisle, drinking it and stuff.
Of course they did.
They're both dressed in like jeans and like hockey jerseys or something. And, yeah.
That sounds like that one episode where like they friggin' Nash cannonballed into the pool.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's exactly what they did. Yeah.
My God.
Oh, this next one. This is a hard one, man, because you'll see why. So I guess they turned Hacksaw Jim Duggan into a janitor, and well, yeah. Hold on. It's better. He had just came back to WCW from like a legit cancer battle.
Oh man,
that was a kidney cancer. I think they took the kidney out, and they decided to poke fun of that on the air. He goes, I think Russo. Well, actually, they don't call him Russo, by the way. They only call him the powers that be. So they make it out to be like this is a character Russo created. Mm-hmm. Powers that be, by the way, plural, but it's only Russo. And also, side note, you never see him. You only see his arms. The camera's like behind him, and like it's from of him what he sees. So, anyways,
okay,
yeah. So the camera's behind his desk, and like you see him talking to people. Anyways, they joke about the Hacksaw Jim Duggan's missing kidney, and I forget exactly what, but it's pretty messed up. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Like, well,
keep in mind he's a janitor now too. So yeah.
Yeah, and they're gonna they would later go on to make fun of another man's Bell's palsy. So
Yeah.
I guess
Don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's just, oh my God.
Let's go to November 1st.
Well, before we jump in, now that we are officially out of the month of October and jumping in head first into November, let's take a quick break here. Just kind of put the brakes on for just a moment, because, like, I don't know, my heart's beating so fast from all this excitement.
Yeah, do a promo now, because when we come back, this next part's probably one of the worst. Well, I don't know. Worst so far, though.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hooray. Well, before we actually take our to let you know about another podcast, I do want to take time to let you know about our latest affiliation with Wrestling.com. If you head over to WrestlingWithWrestling.com right now, you can catch up with not only the Podcast Wrestling Society, but you can keep up to date with all the latest pro wrestling news and show results from WWE, Lucha Underground, Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, the independents in the States and worldwide, and so much more. There are match and interview videos available, as well as interviews from stars such as Lucha Underground's PJ Black, who is former WWE superstar Justin Gabriel, as well as some current Impact Wrestling stars. You can listen to some other great wrestling-related podcasts as well, like the Triple Threat Podcast with the franchise Shane Douglas, the 10 Pounds of Gold podcast, which focuses on the NWA, the Smash This podcast, the Andre Corbeil Show, and so much more. And don't forget to pick up some swag at the Wrestling with Wrestling official online store, WrestlingWithWrestling.com, covering all four corners of the ring. And now that I'll let you know all about that, of course, we are still hooked up with Drama City Productions, and you can check out DramaCityProductions.com. You can catch up on this podcast there. It's always updated on our page on the website. And also catch up with other great podcasts in the network. We're going to tell you about another one of them right here. We'll be back on the other side of this break.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Game ticket, $50. Hot dog, $8. Team store item, $25.
I told him I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, with some glasses on, with one eye lens out, with some flip-flops on in the ring.
Having to listen to someone's dumb sports opinions? Worthless. Some people shouldn't talk sports. For everyone else, there's the Unspoken Podcast, available on most podcasting platforms, and on the web at theunspokensportspodcast.weebly.com.
All right, we're back, Greg, and you know what that means. It means more fun with Russo on Nitro. We're diving headfirst in November 1st, 1999.
Tell me November 1st on Raw. What's going on there?
Well, we have Triple H defending the WWF Championship against Shane McMahon in the main event.
Okay.
So
you fought both McMahons for that WWE title within a month or two of each other. Cool. That's okay.
Yeah. And
still better than this.
Well, and the match before that, the Dudley Boys took on the Headbangers for whatever that's worth.
Dudley Boys are brand new to WWE at that point. That might have been their first match. I'll have to look that up.
They were there like a week or two before that. I didn't see what they were doing per se.
Still very, very fresh, because I think Heatwave was their last match in ECW. Okay. This part, this is, there's a couple of things here, and
man, this is bad. You're already laughing. Well, I see the opening contest on the show is in the WCW World Title Tournament. It's Vampiro versus Berlin.
That actually wasn't that bad. I mean, yeah.
You know, the worst part about the whole Berlin and Wall gimmick was in the vignettes, they're showing legit Nazis marching through the streets.
I know.
That was so bad.
Again, Berlin was not a Russo thing. He'd already debuted that before he came in, so.
Oh, man. Who was doing this? I don't was this Bischoff?
My assumption is Bischoff and or Kevin Sullivan. I don't know.
I'm just gonna throw.
No, I think Bischoff's gone at this point for a while. Yeah. I think he's gone. I think it's Kevin Sullivan.
Wow. I'm looking ahead at this card, and I'm just go on with what you have to say.
Let me hit you with these first two. First thing, we see Nash dressed up like a promoter. Okay.
Oh, I remember this.
The reason I say it like that is because the promoter is wink, wink, Vince McMahon. He does McMahon's mannerisms. He does his voice. You know, he's going around telling Hall he's going to be his manager / promoter and all this stuff. This is the part that I laughed at. So Sid Vicious is walking in the back, and he sees him. Okay, he sees Nash as the promoter.
Uh-huh.
I could just say Vince, but they wouldn't say Vince on TV.
Right.
Sid sees him dressed as Vince, and he just flips out and goes, "I hate your guts. I wish you were dead. You ruined my career." And then Nash goes, "Settle down." He goes, "Settle down, Sid. It's just me. It's Nash." And they both laugh, and they go like, "Oh God, I hate him." So they made Sid act like he was legit yelling at Vince McMahon until Nash quote revealed himself.
Yeah, so let's make Sid look like a gigantic freaking idiot, like more so than he already looked like.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say it doesn't take much.
Yeah,
that's not even the part I was laughing at. This next part is just wow. And you and I have joked many, many, many times about something like this, but not this particular one.
Uh-huh.
So the Revolution, who at this point is Shane Douglas, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, and Asia. Benoit's already out of the group. So they're feuding with the Filthy Animals. And
hell yeah.
They kidnap Tori Wilson. Okay? And they put her in a shark cage. Okay?
The dreaded shark cage that everybody has laying around. You know, everybody's got a shark cage.
Yeah, the guy in that shark cage are us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this is where it gets even better though. So they can't get her out of the shark cage, and
well, of course not.
Well, yeah, because Shane Douglas has the key, and Eddie Guerrero. I still don't know why not Kidman. Whatever. Eddie Guerrero challenges Perry Saturn to a match, but the key is going to be on a pole, bro.
Oh yes.
But I want it gets even better, as if it could. During the match, Tori Wilson is in the shark cage on a forklift at ringside.
Oh, hell yeah. Foreshadowing, brother. Yeah, apparently when Tori was trapped in the cage, the Revolution surrounded her backstage and asked if that's how Billy kept her.
Yeah.
Mother of God. Like, freaking Russo just, like, sat around just, like, flicking his bean there, like, watching Jerry Springer and listening to Howard Stern. It was like, oh, bro, I gotta... this is masterful, bro. Like, I gotta do this, bro.
We're gonna joke about rape, bro.
My God. We're gonna set him on fire, then he's gone forever, bro. Gonna slit his throat.
Now this next part, I don't think any of this part is on Russo. Okay. But I had to throw it in there. Because it's one of the biggest debacles in the history of pro wrestling. It's right up there with Triple Mania from this year. All the crap they did. It's bad.
Wow, that's bad.
So Lugar and Liz are in the back, and they're steering up Ming. I forget exactly what it was, but they're like egging him on, and like saying someone's talking crap. I think it was like Sting or something, or no, not Sting. Whoever he's feuding with. It might have been Goldberg.
He said Jeff Jarrett was talking about
it's Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, okay, Jeff Jarrett. And so they're in the back, and it's just Lugar and Liz, and they're in the locker room, and the kid cam is filming them, and like Lugar's posing, and Liz is reading something off the paper or something, like a contract or something.
Yeah.
And then it ends, and you hear the director go, "And cut, we're out." And then they start talking and joking, and Liz is like drinking a Diet Coke. Oh, that was great. Oh, he's like, yeah, it was so fun. And the camera pulls back, and you see Kidman crouched down with his camera, and you see the producer and then it just cuts away.
Holy hell.
But you can clearly see Liz and Luger after said cut. Okay, cool, we're done. Cool now. And then they just start chilling.
Mother of God. I remember hearing about that. That's worse. That's worse than Hogan, like on Saturday Night's Main Event, looking up and going, what's my tizyme?
Yeah, right.
Oh my good Lord.
If you get a chance to watch it on YouTube, just look for I don't know what to look for. Just look for the Kid Cam, Luger Liz or something. But yeah, it was one of the worst errors in production history.
Yeah. I see later on.
Especially the part where like she picks up the Diet Coke and starts drinking it and they're joking and laughing and like about what they just filmed.
As if this was all like, I don't know. And with Russo and the way his messed up mind works, you almost wonder if that was planned.
Yeah, that's true.
So
but
I
like
don't know.
the announcers didn't talk about it though.
Yeah.
I feel like they would have, but I don't know.
I see, by the way, that whole promoter thing kept going later on in the show.
Oh, it went throughout the whole night. Yeah,
where Nash is like talking to himself in the mirror, saying that he could be one of the boys, and then Scott Hall approached him and just wondered why.
Yeah.
Jim Duggan was shown talking to the powers that be as the henchmen for the bosses stood behind. The boss said that he didn't care about
creative control, by the way.
Oh, yay. The boss said that he didn't care about Duggan's problems if they didn't bring ratings, but he would think about giving him an opportunity.
Yeah.
This is just all wow. I don't know.
Just to jump ahead real quick because Russo's already gone by this point. Eventually finds the TV title in the trash that Scott Hall threw it in the trash and declared himself the champion, and it became an exclusive title for a while to WCW Saturday Nights.
Who found the title?
Jim Duggan, as the janitor he found in the trash.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How do we put a title over and make it seem like it matters? Oh, I don't know. Put it in the garbage, bro.
And have someone find it, bro. I don't think that was Russo though. I think because he was already gone. So
yeah, well, he did have. Do you remember when? Reminds me of. You remember when Eric Young found the TNA title in the garbage?
Yep.
And he started. It was like the old title, and he started just like wearing it around.
Yep.
Oh man, they could use that right about now. Anyway.
Next thing, this wasn't really significant, but like they did a thing where David Flares ran over by Kimberly. Like that was like her big heel turn. Because they're about to do the Austin gets hit by a car in literally 2 weeks. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, because if there's one thing that's going to get us ratings, bro, it's a Kimberly Page heel turn, bro.
Yep. And then the next thing is Medusa versus Benoit, because again, they were mad at her for not wanting to get naked that week, so she's got to face Chris Benoit.
Was that on this show? Because I
think so. Yeah.
I'm looking through.
I don't think it was an actual match. I think it turned in like a run in or something, but that was said to happen.
Because I'm seeing Medusa versus Evan Courageous in the WCW title tournament. And then Benoit versus Malenko for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so that was week 3.
Oh man, 3 weeks in, and I already feel dirty.
The next week though, we're going to cover. There's something they do to a really talented wrestler that, like, wow, yeah.
Oh, I'm titillated. Well, that takes us to what are we on?
November 8th.
November 8th. So on Raw, for reference, Triple H is defending the WWF Championship again, this time against Test. Not to speak ill of the dead, but my God. By the way, for everybody out there, I believe this is about the time the whole Stephanie is engaged to Test thing is going on.
I think it's about the wedding's about to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Test and Triple H came to ringside, and Triple H became upset with the McMahons and blah blah blah. I guess Shane was defending his sister's honor and all that good stuff. So, yeah, there was that. And obviously Triple H won via, he actually won via countout in this one. Not what you would expect, but either way. So that was that, and that was a hot angle at the time. As much as I'm joking about Test and whatever. That was a very hot angle, and I was 9 at the time, and I was into it. So you were a tad older.
Yeah. On November 8th, this is when they turned David Flair into a nut. Who did some he started wearing the exact same clothes. They put eyeliner on him, made him look like he never slept, and he had weird outbursts and laughs, and it was just weird, man.
I don't know if I'm really playing devil's advocate here, but I don't think this was a terrible use. I mean, that gimmick, I don't think was a terrible use of David Flair, considering what he was doing before that wasn't exactly, amazing.
Well, yeah, but all of a sudden he's going nuts because he got run over by a car.
Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, but he turned into a psychopath, though. It's like when you have a horror film.
Yeah, but
he got hit by a car the week before, dude. All of a sudden he's back and he's acting like a nut.
Wouldn't he be the baby face in that situation, though? He got hit by he got purposely run over by Kimberly Page, who then turned heel from that situation, and now he's a heel? I don't get it.
So. And he was stalking her the whole night and everything. It was weird. Wow. Yeah, and here's another gem for Nash. He dressed up like the Grand Wizard and was walking around the whole night making his mannerisms and stuff.
Yeah. Well, what was up? Well, why? Did Russo just dislike Kevin Nash, or was Nash just assing off at this point?
Well, I mean, he was a booker for a while. I don't know if it wasn't when he stopped. I don't know, but
it wasn't during this time. I know that.
Well, duh, clearly.
Well, yeah, but I guess I don't know. Nash gets a lot of heat, rightfully so.
Well, I mean, that was my answer to you saying, is he just jacking off? He was a booker. Maybe he get what the hell he wanted to do, I guess. I don't know.
I guess so. Creative control, I guess. I don't know.
Here's one of my favorites, by the way. Oh, man. Chavo Guerrero, pretty talented wrestler. But I guess Russo saw him as a salesman. So he puts him in a suit, gives him a bunch of crap in a briefcase to go sell. He's walking around all night trying to sell people stuff, and there was I forget exactly who, but 2 people get into a fight. He goes, "Are you injured? I injured. Do you need a first aid kit? I got him right here." And then they walk off, and he goes, "If you need it, call me 555 sale."
Okay, first of all, the most unoriginal thing I've ever heard. Second of all, I don't know. That is pretty bad, but still better than Kerwin White.
Yeah,
just gonna say that.
Yeah, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I'm not.
My number one this episode was the debut of Seven, and we've discussed Seven, I believe. I think they caught a lot of heat for Seven because he looked like a predator. He used the word to use the PC word. He was outside of kids' rooms and looking in at them
Yeah, they were sleeping, and he's looking in their freaking window at them.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, that's not funny. But, for a wrestling gimmick, that's pretty funny because, wow, that's what you see for this guy. And also, spoiler alert, it's Dustin Rhodes, a.k.a. Goldust. And they decide, hey, we don't know what to do. We're going to turn you into a child predator.
Well, okay, I will say this. I mean, anybody with a brain could figure out, okay, he's supposed to be, the boogeyman. But
right, but the way they presented it.
Yeah, I agree. They could have done it a lot better. But the thing is, I mean, any situation with a child would have been bad because I would have been well, what about he's in the closet? But that's still really bad. So I don't know. It should have been adults, I guess. I don't know. He's spying on adults.
Well, let's get to the debut part, though. So they have a grand entrance, an awesome entrance, I got to say, by the way.
Yeah, I loved it.
The whole thing fills with smoke, and he's levitating, he's on a rope or something, just pushing him to the ring, and he's levitating.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool, and he lands in the ring, and we're gonna get some creepy promo. And all of a sudden he says, he goes, I want you to take a look at this because this is the last time you'll see me dressed in this horrible outfit. And he basically says, this is what the creative geniuses have for me. And he slams Gold Dust and said, that's what they did to me up there, up north. And says, you could take 7 ass. And
yeah, he said the creative team can kiss him, but not on the lips.
Yeah.
And he said he's going to make everyone's life a living hell until justice has been served.
Yeah.
And he later, he starts calling himself the American Nightmare, Dustin Rhodes, which, to any of you, does that sound familiar to anybody currently watching wrestling? Somebody else named Rhodes?
But yeah, that's all the notes I took for that one. I guess there was not a lot of crap that week.
Well, speaking of crap, Jim Duggan was seen backstage cleaning out the creative team's toilets.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. The main event, by the way.
Oh, wait. Now that I remember it, actually.
Oh.
I think there was a thing with Juventud Guerrera bribing the powers that be, Vince Russo, with some tequila. Now, you said you said that Jim Duggan was cleaning toilets. He used a toothbrush with it. And he's like, oh, a special one. It's a gold toothbrush. And he scrubs the toilet with a gold toothbrush. And then Vince Russo takes a drink of the tequila. And he goes, he's like, I figures he got the cheap crap. And he tells the creative control, hey, go get my toothbrush. It's the gold one in there.
Oh, God.
And this is after Jim Duggan just cleaned the toilet with a gold toothbrush. So that was that.
Oh, man. Toilet humor. Oh,
yeah.
Man. The main event of this, by the way, so friggin' weird. It was called a Texas Tornado Ladder Match. Scott Hall defeated Bret Hart, Goldberg, and Sid Vicious.
Yeah, because of Nash.
I mean, Bret Hart, Scott Hall, okay. But when I think ladder match, I don't think Goldberg and Sid Vicious. And
oddly enough, this is Goldberg's second ladder match of 99. So
that's so weird. And why is it called Texas Tornado? Like,
I don't know. There was no special thing about it either. It was just a ladder match.
Well, that's what they were in the Conseco Center in Indianapolis for that show, by the way. So,
moving on to the 15th.
Oh yeah, let's keep it going.
This is gonna get fun.
Well, the main event I see on this show is Sid Vicious versus Kevin Nash. On Raw, the main event is the Big Boss Man versus The Rock in a hardcore match, the number 1 contendership for the WWF title.
Yeah, this was the last time The Rock was face until after the corporation, leading into the Survivor Series.
Yay.
So, yeah. First thing I got to point out, Norman Smiley versus Jimmy effing Hart.
Oh, man.
That's an actual match.
Hell, yeah. Main event anywhere else in the world, man. Look, I know you and I we've talked about this before, but, it needs to be said. You got to put the asses in the seats.
Oh, my God.
I'm seeing another match here that I know for a fact you're going to touch on later, but I'm not going to jump ahead.
Oh, it's coming up. Yeah, you see it. Yeah. Next, this is fun right here. We get the debut of Oklahoma.
Oh my, yes.
Which ties into that match, by the way, you're talking about. But yeah, so if anyone doesn't remember Oklahoma, it's Ed Ferrara, who, by the way, doesn't get enough heat. Don't get me wrong, Russo was like the main guy, but Ferrara was just as bad. People forget he was writing this crap too.
Well, because he was the glorified weed carrier for Russo.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, and he went along with it, sure. By the way, this is the 3rd week in a row Kevin Nash is dressing up in cosplay. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Apparently this week he's Big Vicious.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, can't make this stuff up, folks.
Unfortunately.
All right, here's the match right here that you're talking about. It has to be this match.
let's hear it. Oh yeah, if it involves Oklahoma, yes it is. But yeah, go for it.
Pinata on a pole.
Yeah.
$10,000 inside the pinata. It's listen to this lineup right here, man.
Mhm.
Silver King, Viano 5, El Dandy, Psychosis, Juventud Guerrera.
in the words of Dave Chappelle, this racism is killing me inside. Hey, what's a little racism among your pro wrestling, man? Come on.
Right. So Movie ends up winning. He gets the check. Actually, if I remember right, someone else got the thing down, but Hoovy got the pinata and got the check out. If I remember right. Anyways,
Steve Williams got involved.
Yeah, Dr. Death gets involved, destroys everybody, and then ends up taking the check. And then, Oklahoma's on commentary, yelling every move times, suplex. And then one of the announcers says, I'm just curious as to why you repeat everything 3 times. And, he pokes fun at JR. Oh, it's what the good guys do. Another thing he's poking fun at JR too. Jim Ross is he's big on college football.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, Juventud Guerrera, he was a big defensive lineman out of Tijuana State, poking fun at Jim Ross saying this crap.
I will say that is a little funny. If you have to pick one thing, that's a little funny.
Tijuana State.
I mean, it's racist as all get out. However, it's a little funny. And I will say, if he's going to sit there and do that crap, he missed the golden opportunity. He should have yelled Beetlejuice 3 times just to mess with people. But he's not that smart, so whatever. And because of this, by the way, he showed up in TNA later on with dreadlocks, no joke, and Jim Cornette apparently spit in his face. So,
yep.
Oh, man. That's
and then,
well-deserved.
And then some. The last note I have for the show is Jerry Flynn taking fights in the boiler room.
What the balls?
Yeah, he sits in the boiler room, and any tough guy wants to challenge him has to come fight him in the boiler room. I think they called it the block, the fight in the block, but it's the boiler room.
He faced the Barbarian.
Yeah.
He called it the battles in the Fight Club.
Yeah, and then he would call it fight him in the block or something like that.
Yeah, because I'm sure Fight Club was freaking trademarked.
Yep.
God. By the way, I'm seeing one match on the card. I got to ask about this. Berlin and The Wall defeated Vampiro and the Misfits. When they say the Misfits...
Yeah, it's the actual Misfits, yes.
Like the band?
Yep. I think Jerry Only was the guy that wrestled with him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow, not even Danzig. And Danzig.
He might have wrestled, but I know Jerry Only was the worker of the group. I think.
He's the working misfit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's move on. I'm getting depressed.
Let's move on to November 22nd.
For reference, on the other side, we got freaking Triple H, man.
Fresh off the. Oh wait.
Say what?
When I said it was The Rock and the Bossman was the last time, I forgot. We're in 99. I was 98. Sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
Well,
freaking Triple H, man. Just he's had the last 4. Excuse me.
I thought you said Rock and Bossman was the last.
Okay. I stand corrected. He's had the last 3 out of 4 main events here because he is in a. He's in the main event, November 22nd. He is in a handicap match against the Acolytes. God rest his soul.
Yeah. Wow.
Apparently, as Raw went off the air, Vince McMahon was beating the hell out of Triple H and then tossed him off of the ramp through a table below.
Yeah, because he did it to Shane a couple weeks before, or maybe the Tuesday before or Thursday on SmackDown.
Yeah, he snuck up behind him and nailed him with a steel chair.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And the next week, November 29th, there's we'll get to that. But anyway, on the WCW side, what we're all here to talk about, the main event is a tag match. Again, they love their tag matches here.
And they all have no finishes, by the way.
Yeah. WCW was bad with finishes before Russo showed up. They were even worse once he got there. Man, if any of you listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast, 83 Weeks, he rails about that all the time, talking about how terrible WCW was at finishes.
I think they didn't even have a real finish until like 7 weeks in Nitro.
Yeah.
My first note here, I forgot to clarify. I don't even know what I'm talking about here. I put Liz is in a cage. Do you see that anywhere? Yeah, Liz in a cage match, I think, against Lugar.
Well, let's see.
I don't know what the hell happened there.
I see one thing. It says a mysterious limousine arrived during the broadcast.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Yeah.
Okay. I see a lot of crap going on every single week with the Nitro girls. Something about Tony Marinara. My God, real name.
There's something coming up in a couple weeks. Hold on.
Backstage, Total Package.
Get fun.
The Total Package asked the powers that be to sign a match between Elizabeth and Meng. Since Liz,
in a cage, yeah.
Since Liz works as the Total Package's manager, the artist formerly known as Lex promised to deliver his manager for the match somewhere else in the building. Liz wanted a monitor in horror, or watched a monitor in horror.
Yeah, and then she ends up getting in the cage with Ming, and then Sting saves her. That's right.
So why is Lex pissed at her then?
Because she didn't work hard to get him out of the match with Sting. It's all a huge setup. It's gonna have a terrible payoff. Just again,
stay tuned.
Yeah, I don't even think I have that written on here. Anyway, she ends up turning on Sting and joining Lex, and they break a bat over Sting's face, and he's gone forever, bro. He actually doesn't even return until Russo's gone either.
And I'm also seeing a trend here. Russo sure as hell loves booking intergender matches. There are 3 on this card alone. 3.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He put Medusa in one every week.
Yeah. He's booking her I'm sorry, 4. There are 4 on this. He's booking her like freaking China.
Yep.
He knows one way to book, bro. Sexist and racist.
That's 2 ways.
Yeah. You are right. Yeah.
The limo ends up being Roddy Piper, by the way, and he gets out and he's like, "I'm back," and he's Roddy Piper.
You're the SOB that killed my cousin.
Oh yeah, he gets into the powers that be's locker room. After he was told he wasn't allowed in, he walks in. He looks at him and goes, "You're the one everyone's afraid of," and he cuts a promo on him how much he hates his guts, but we never hear a name. So yeah, and then Russo basically says, "You know what? I'm not going to fire you because I can't. So from now on, you're going to be a lowly ref." So they turn him into a referee.
Wow, yeah, the great Roddy Piper.
This is one night after Mayhem, by the way.
That historic pay-per-view.
Yeah, and real quick, there's my last 2 notes. There's 2 heel turns. So Kurt Hennig comes back one day after quote retiring, after losing a retirement match to Buff Bagwell. He turns on Buff and joins the powers that be as their new guy.
Yeah.
And then this is a really weird one. The Revolution turns on Canada and says we hate your guts and all this stuff. And
weird.
Dean Douglas, we'll call him that. Shane cuts a promo on them and how much he hates them, and then Dean Malenko joins in, and so does Perry Saturn. I'm glad Benoit's not here because he's one of you and all that crap. So
what the hell?
That was November 22nd.
Last quick thing before we move off of this. I'm going through. I know commentary was always weird in WCW, and especially during this time, it seems just like a cluster. But during the Perry Saturn with Asia versus Evan Courageous with Medusa and Medusa match. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's a real thing. Apparently, it says a hippie named Buzzkill joined the commentary booth. Announcers accused him of being Brad Armstrong.
I'm getting to that actually.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I forgot about that part. I have that note on another date for some reason. But let me just jump ahead real quick while we're on that then. He comes out to a clearly ripped off version of the New Age Outlaws theme.
Really?
Clear as day, that's what it is. Gee, I wonder why. I couldn't piece that together. But.
I don't. Oh my gosh. Are we Are we still on November 22nd, or are we moving on?
I'm moving to the 29th.
Okay. Well,
29th's a controversial one, actually. We'll get to that right off the bat, actually. But yeah.
on both sides, then, because on the WWF side, Monday Night Raw, they have the Test and Stephanie McMahon wedding.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, Triple H drugged Stephanie McMahon before the wedding, drove to a chapel, and somehow got them married, even though she was passed out in the passenger seat. There was like a drive-through
Because that
window.
can happen in life.
Yeah. And none of this is like, a crime punishable by, I don't know, jail time or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he recorded all of it like an idiot, too, so made it official.
Well, he didn't record it. The bartender recorded it.
Yeah. And also, before all this happened, the Acolytes and the Dudleys got into a brawl backstage because Bubba Ray apparently cheated in a card game.
Yeah, they said, what's your, they're okay, show your hand. And Bubba Ray's like, I got 6 aces.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Good Lord. He had 6 John Laurinaitis?
Oh, hey, boss. Your arm's looking kind of dry. Can I put some baby oil on for you?
Well, put some oil on him for you. I'll even lick him if I need to. Get him all nice and moist. Think I missed a spot. All right, sorry.
I love Bruce Pritchard.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well,
okay. Let's start off with the most controversial part, though. I don't know. I think to this day they don't acknowledge, or maybe they do now. But so, Jushin Thunder Liger is on the show.
Mm-hmm.
He is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
IWGP. Okay. New Japan.
Uh-huh.
He faces Juventud Guerrera, who smashes a tequila bottle over his head and wins the title. And from what I understand, New Japan was like so pissed at this. They would not let their talent go over to WCW anymore.
I wonder why.
They refused to acknowledge the title switch. And yeah, he ended up winning it back, I think, either next week or on Thunder. But
that match in particular, let's cover a couple things about that here. Another special stipulation of this is if Hoovy won, he gets a work visa.
Yeah, that's right.
Why is Russo so racist? Like, why?
I forgot about that part.
God dang it. Like, he gets a work visa. He's in something involving a pinata. He's carrying around tequila. Mother of God. And he's flat out saying, I guarantee, New Japan wasn't, cool with this. But Russo's like, whatever, bro. He's Japanese. Nobody here in America can relate to him, bro. He's wearing a mask. Who cares about him?
But yeah, I forgot about that work visa part. But yeah, that's still like one of the biggest controversies to this date. They loaned him to them, and he just happened to have his title on him. It's like, oh, he lost it.
Yeah, I guarantee that, he saw no value in Jushin Thunder Liger because he's a Japanese mask-wearing guy who didn't speak a lot of English, and yet
Never mind, he's one of their biggest draws ever.
And in 2015, Brooklyn, the Barclays Center, people blew up for him when he came out to face Tyler Breeze.
You and me included.
Yeah, that was one of the main selling points of me wanting to go to that show.
Yeah. So,
well, we're just nerds, bro. We're marks.
Oh, man. NXT needs Russo.
Shut up.
My next note, I said the Revolution cuts a promo on how much they hate America. Why is that significant? Because all 3 men and the 1 woman, they're all from America.
Didn't you just say last week they hated Canada?
That was the start of it. Then they come back, oh, Canada crapped on us, and now I hear you crapping on us. We hate you all.
So there are people with no country?
Well, they would eventually, I don't even know if I have that note here, but yeah, they would eventually make their own country, the Revolution country, and they would make their own flag. And
yay.
And then my next note, this one, I forgot about this. Oh my God.
It's got to be good.
They make Liz, do you know who Rhonda Singh is? She was Bertha Faye in WWE.
Oh God, yeah.
So Luger's continuing this thing to make Liz do whatever he wants because he owns her contract. So he's going to make her wrestle Rhonda Singh. Powers that be have the brilliant idea to make it a mud wrestling match. It gets better. It gets better. It gets better.
I hope
Roddy
so.
Piper's going to be the ref.
What the hell?
Oh, so the match goes. Liz refuses to wrestle. Piper is like trying to get her to, but he won't force her to. And I don't know. I forget the specifics, but like he gets into the mud and he starts riding on Rhonda Singh's back, and just it's like a whole debacle, dude. Like it becomes Piper and Rhonda Singh making fools out of one another, and
also, side story here.
Oh my God.
Symphony, who is
yes,
apparently a
that's right.
female.
That was the other one.
Yeah,
She's right. It's Ryan Shamrock, by the way. For anyone you might know. Yeah.
She received a teddy bear. She thought it was from the Maestro, who went on to be nobody.
Literally goes away in about 4 weeks from. Maybe a little more, but where I'm at now, he's gone.
Well, she thought it was from him, but turns out it's from David Flair, who apparently tied the Maestro up and stuffed him in a piano.
Yeah, and was playing the piano while he was in there. And he kind of opened it like a mob boss would and showed Symphony the body.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and by the way,
I'm glad you're reading this because there are a couple things I might have forgot. So
yeah. And Ronda and the mud wrestling match that went on later. This was, and there was a lot of crap that went on later. In the middle of the show, we get a three-way. They call it a three-way dance there. Chris Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett versus Sting. No, that doesn't main event. Speaking of which, the winner of that match gets to main event Starrcade for the world title. But no, that match doesn't main event. That's like halfway down the card.
Mm-hmm.
God dang it.
What was the finish? Because I put no finish to the show.
Oh, the actual finish to the show, it was Bret Hart and Chris Benoit defeated the Outsiders and Sid Vicious and Goldberg in a 3-team cage match, which I guess you could justify that. But everybody's like pulling double duty on these shows. Like
multiple times, yeah.
Like they had they didn't have a thin roster, but they sure as hell made it seem like they did.
I know.
All right, this is how this, and just a heads up for all of you out there that care, I'm using pwwew.net for all this if you want to, check back, because why wouldn't you?
Just go watch this masterpiece on the network.
God, yeah.
I mean, why would
I haven't even
watch it?
I haven't read past this first line here, but here's what it says. Talk about a train wreck. That's not good. These 6 men attacked each other like hungry dogs. For the most part, the Outsiders suffered the combined rage of their opponents, but the odds seemed to only make Hall and Nash even more dangerous. The Outsiders did eventually fall to the numbers. Enter Jeff Jarrett. Double J brought a slew of weapons to the ring, decked Piper, and took out Goldberg. The Outsiders shackled Bret to the cage, leaving Sid and Benoit to do all the fighting. The Crippler went to the top of the cage and hit an unbelievable headbutt splash. Piper crawled over to Benoit and counted the pin. But that was only the beginning. Goldberg recovered and began attacking Jarrett and the Outsiders, only to be attacked again. Despite losing the match, Hall, Nash, and Jarrett left their opponents beaten and bloody in the ring. So on the positive, we had a finish. That's all I can say.
This must have been a personal note to me that I didn't finish it. That's probably what it was. Sounds like I didn't miss much.
Yeah. By the way, who's Midnight?
Oh, she was like some big bodybuilder that they paired with Booker T.
Oh, well, good. We get more intergender matches with her and Kurt Hennig. Mother of God.
She's literally like their version of China. Well, I guess Asia was their version of China, but another version of China.
They've technically got 3 Chinas here because they booked Medusa like China.
Yeah. All right, December 6th. Oh, man, this looks like a fun one.
Well, before we dive into the month of December, we will make that our third and final segment here. We're going to take a quick break. Before we go into our actual break, we're going to take a quick minute to tell you about all of our swag that you can pick up on our Redbubble store. You can go get yourself the look, bro! If you head on over to redbubble.com/people/podrestsociety, we've got such designs in our Redbubble store like our 2 different show logos. You can get an angry letter from a mark to Vince McMahon that was written in purple crayon. You can get the Hobo Championship Wrestling logo. There's Hobos Still Rule, Hobo Mania Running Wild, Uncle Dave says plans changed with 5 stars below it, the brand new hashtag Junk Hand Outta Nowhere, and much, much more. You can get t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, phone cases, tablet cases, mugs, travel mugs, clocks, etc. And if we don't offer a certain product that you would like, hit us up on social media and we will rectify that situation. So you can check out redbubble.com/people/podrestsociety. That's PODWRES Society, like our social media tags. And you can find yourself some Podcast Wrestling Society swag. All right. And now we're going to take a quick break and let you know about another great podcast here on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. When we come back, we will wrap up December 1999. This is episode 1 of 2 of the Vince Russo era and his reign of terror, bro, on WCW Nitro.
Drama City Productions presents.
Hey, it's Ben here, host of the Regular Stories podcast, a podcast where I interview interesting people about their lives. These are not celebrities, they're not the elite, these are regular people, and these are their stories. You can follow us on Facebook at Regular Stories and on Instagram at Regular Stories. We are everywhere that you can get a podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, just about everywhere else. Look up Regular Stories Podcast.
All right, we are back to wrap up the year 1999 in WCW Nitro with it's the beginning of the reign of terror of Vince Russo, where he did scorched earth, bro. He set it on fire, and not in a good way. We're starting off December 6th, 1999. Main event, Jeff Jarrett versus Goldberg in a lumberjack match, bro. Stipulations. And just to let you know what's going on the other side, we've got, on December 6th, we got the Rock and Sock Connection versus Al Snow and Chris Jericho in the main event.
That's a hell of a match.
Main event anywhere in the world. You're like, I told you this before, man. Asses in seats.
Well, speaking of asses in seats, wait till you see what we got next.
Well, and they're coming from Worcester, Massachusetts. So that right there says big money town. Whereas Nitro is coming from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, they might need a lot of that Milwaukee brew to get through this show. All right.
Yeah.
First note I have written for December 6th. This one really got me. Vincent's, a.k.a. Virgil, a.k.a. Curly Bill. Yes, Curly Bill was a thing.
What?
Oh, you don't know about that? Yeah.
No.
He joined the West Texas Rednecks at one point.
Oh, God, I forgot
Curly
about
Bill.
that. Oh, rap is crap.
I think WCW did it to get away from the stereotype, so they put a black guy with them.
Well, they
were hating on rap, which I think that was the thing.
Yeah, well, the Bischoff actually said on his podcast the reason they stopped that was because the higher ups in Turner claimed that it was too racist.
Oh yeah, and there you go. That's why they put a black guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm seeing right here. I wouldn't have known until you told me because it says Kurt Hennig and Curly Bill. I'm like, yeah, what the hell?
So he walks in to the powers that be's office, and he's like, "What the hell do you want? Why are you here?" And he goes, "You know what? I have an awesome idea. Right? Awesome name change." He goes, "My new name is Shane." And Russo gobbles it up and goes, "Yo, I love it."
Oh, God, yeah, pal. Friggin' Shane, by
It took
God.
me a long time to figure out what they were taking a shot at. Anyways,
Douglas?
my next note. Norman Smiley versus Rhonda Singh.
Yeah.
Asses in seats.
Look, I know we're getting a little repetitive here, folks, but I mean, it's got to be said.
Yeah.
Sold out, packed to the rafters, had to turn people away at the door, screaming Norman Smiley versus Rhonda effing Singh, bro. Big wiggle time.
Oh, this is for some reason I put this here. Brad Armstrong is a hippie named Buzzkill. This is when he made his entrance, actually. He walked around in the crowd with a sign. He wore a tie-dye shirt, like those tiny like sunglasses, like little circle sunglasses. He looked like a stoner, and he was preaching feminist values and all that stuff. Like, I said, whatever, nothing wrong with that, but like that's what they had him doing.
He looks like... Okay, I just pulled up like pictures of him here. He looks like Dude Love went on a diet.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, he was coming out to a version of the New Age Outlaws theme.
He's even got Road Dogg's hair.
Yeah.
I just... But like you said, I don't understand. Like I don't understand the significance of the rip-off theme.
I don't get it either. But next,
and this goes on for a while too. By the way, I'm seeing, not to cut you off, but he had a match against Tank freaking Abbott in March of 2000.
Uh-huh.
Holy God, they keep this going.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure that was the end of it though too. But yeah, it's got to stretch.
Oh well, if you're gonna go out, you got to go out on top against Tank Abbott, man. I mean, that's
right. Next.
Damn it.
So Disco is feuding with a quote mob boss, but there's no such thing as the mafia, and his name's Tony Marinara, and you may not know it's actually Tony Mamaluke from the FBI.
Wow.
That's who that is. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So Tony Mamaluke, they made him the Don?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I call BS on that one. And again with the racist names. Marinara? Like, they didn't even try.
Well, here's the thing. So his henchmen are big, or Vito and Johnny the Bull.
Yeah.
Both in WWE, people know who they are. So,
one wore a dress.
And
the other one was a Relic, which was Killer spelled backwards.
Yeah, of course.
Continue.
So, Disco and Lash, they're both, Disco's in hot water with them, and they beat up Lash, so him and Lash decide to team up against them. So they get the Nitro girls to play strip poker with Vito and Johnny the Bull. And like Vito and Johnny keep losing, so like they're down to their boxers and stuff. And this is all so they can kidnap Tony Marinara. So they tie him up in a bed in like a room, and they're like hassling him and heckling him. The whole skit ends with them pouring tomato spaghetti sauce all over him.
Oh,
and
man.
Becomes racist again.
So you got, man, he wrote the perfect scene. He had stupidity, sexism, and racism all in one ball of bullcrap.
Yep.
As a perfectly written scene. Like, my God, it just hats off, man. Not just anybody could cram all that crap into one backstage segment.
It was throughout the night, but yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, even better, he spread it out for 3 hours. God, God bless Vince Russo. God bless that man.
Oh, he is a born-again Christian, so you might appreciate it.
Oh, hell. I see what you were talking about earlier with they're still having Jerry only wrestling with Vampiro.
Well, yeah, again, like they said, I guess he was the wrestler of the group.
Yeah, well, this week, Jerry Only and Vampiro took on Oklahoma and Dr. Death Steve Williams.
One more time, let's say it. Asses in seats.
Main event anywhere else in the world. Anywhere. Oh, my Lord.
I just want to see Jerry Only one with Oklahoma. That'd be the match right there.
Oh, man.
Also, by the way, in every Oklahoma match, he wore a headset and commentated throughout the match for himself.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just...
and the last...
My head hurts.
I know. Hey, I had to watch this. Last thing from that night. So the powers that be hired La Parka, who is the, quote, chairman of WCW.
Yeah.
Because he hits people with chairs. They hired him. They hired him to stand in the corner in the office with a chair. He's standing on top of another chair with a chair folded in his hand. And he's now the hitman, or the chairman / hitman for powers that be. So when someone's in there talking to him, if the powers that be, Russo, cracks his knuckles, that means La Parka has to nail the guy with a chair.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
he would be perched up in the corner like a statue holding the chair until the knuckles got cracked.
Again, one of Mexico's biggest draws. This is what he's doing. But he wears a mask and doesn't speak English, bro. He's not relatable, bro. I also see that David Flair is continuing his quote-unquote feud with Symphony and Maestro, and DDP, for some freaking reason, gets involved.
Oh, because he was stalking Kimberly.
Well, but so weird. I just like, where the hell does Maestro and Symphony get involved here? I just like, what the hell?
Because they were in the back playing a piano, and David Flair was looking for Kimberly and hit them or something like that, and that started the feud.
Hooray!
Yeah. So.
At least the what show was that? Was that the 13th?
No, that was the 6th. I'm moving to the 13th now. I've only got one note from the 13th, by the way, so I don't know why.
The main event doesn't look too bad, I will say. It's the Outsiders versus Bret Hart and Goldberg for the WCW tag titles. I mean, I'm saying that just at a glance. I don't know what the match was like.
I think it was pretty good, actually. Yeah, because it must have been a good show, because I only got one bad note. So,
well, I guess it says Goldberg wasn't able to wrestle. But yeah, unable to wrestle, Goldberg took both belts and approached the ring, and he battled both opponents. But even Goldberg eventually buckled under the pressure of the competition. Using constant double-team tactics, Goldberg seemed doomed. Limping, Bret Hart charged to the ring, help his partner. Goldberg and Hitman fought off the Outsiders, and Goldberg downed Hall with a spear. But before the G-Man could hit the jackhammer, Hart's bad knee buckled, allowing Nash to score the upset win.
And then they win the tag titles back. And then they eventually have to forfeit them. It's a whole story, though.
Yay.
My only note from the 13th is they make Rhonda Singh, a.k.a. Bertha Faye, they make her a Nitro girl. Not to poke fun or anything, but like she's obviously a bigger woman.
A
and they call her
woman, yeah.
They call her, I think they called her Beef.
Oh, that was my
Nitro
gosh.
Name.
And then more fat jokes. Man, it just keeps getting better. Like, so he makes fun of fat people, gay people, anybody who's not white and American.
Yep.
And women. Cool. Stand-up human being. Oh, and people with disabilities. I forgot about that one.
Oh, that's coming up. Don't get ahead of me. That's coming. Hold on.
We've also got Tank Abbott versus Mang in a UFC-style fight on this card.
Fighting all over the arena all night, by the way.
Oh, my
gosh. Literally, they keep cutting back to them, and they're fighting in the back. So, I mean, it was better than the match they would have put on, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's just, asses and seats, man. Has to be said again. On the other side, on WWF, the main event this night was, and I don't know what sense this makes, 2 weeks after the whole, wedding debacle. Triple H and Test team up to take on the New Age Outlaws for the WWF titles. WWF tag titles. Yeah, I don't remember.
I'll have to look at that I made a couple of notes from Starrcade because number one, Medusa wins the Cruiserweight title.
Oh, yes. I just...
Here's this one now because it baffled me. So Jim Duggan's feuding with the Revolution, and if he gets to have partners, and if he loses, he has to denounce America, and if he wins, the Revolution has to split up. So he goes and gets some mystery partners, and he ends up getting the old Varsity Club, which is Kevin Sullivan, Rick Steiner, and Mike Rotundo.
So freaking random.
Well, here's the thing. They come back to help him. I guess Duggan wrestles the whole match. At the end, they get in and they just turn on him and beat the crap out of him. And I wrote down heel turn. Why? There's made no sense because the next night they don't even do nothing with him really. It just happened. It's over.
Well, they were also that match was Jim Duggan and the Varsity Club were accompanied by Leah Meow, who. Yep. If for anybody who knows ECW was Kimona Wanalea.
Yeah. And then this is the main reason I wrote this down, because the end of Starrcade, they recreate the Montreal Screwjob.
With Bret and Goldberg.
Yep. This is where Goldberg injures Bret with a kick, and Piper comes down, just rings the bell, walks out with Bret, hands him the belt, they just leave.
Well, he kicked him so hard he can't get his junk card anymore, according to the Honky Tonk Man. The most articulate man in wrestling history.
And this sets up December 20th, so...
Yeah, well, real quick, I'm looking at some of these matches on this card. I'm just, running down this whole card. I'm like, this is, the worst freaking Starrcade card. I could have to kind of paraphrase Mr. Anderson, could have put a crayon in my ass, squatted over a piece of paper, and came up with a better card. This is horrible. You said December 20th was the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Baltimore, Maryland. You want to know what was going on Raw real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, on Raw, we got the main event was the Big Show defending the WWF title against Kane.
Oh, that's new.
Yep.
So the first note I got on here is they're exploiting elderly people who are disabled. So Hugh Morris is in a match. Hugh Morris is in a match. I forget with who. You might be able to tell me.
Kurt Hennig.
Yeah. And so some old guy, hope I worded that right, walks down from the back, and he's got a hospital gown on, and it's open, and you can see his tidy whities and stuff.
Oh,
and he's clearly a disabled guy, allegedly. Yeah. And Hugh Morris hops out of the ring and starts calling him Dad and tells him, "You got to get out of here. I told you not to show."
He calls him Pop.
Yeah, Pop. Yeah. He says, "You got to get out of here." And it's not funny, but wow, they're exploiting.
Why?
Also, real quick, because we're almost done, they don't go anywhere with that. You never see this again.
Yeah.
So again, why?
Because Russo wanted to, jerk his gherkin to something. I don't know, and he thought it was hilarious. I bet. I don't know. After the match, Pop entered the ring and pleaded with Morris, who ignored him and walked off.
Yeah, but then he catches up with them and walks out with them. Yeah. This is the same guy, I don't know if you remember this, that was in the hospital when Ric Flair was committed.
I skipped that. I skipped that whole part. Yeah.
No, I mean, it was before Russo.
Yeah. I skipped that too.
Anyways, the next thing, the only other thing I wonder, so Nash comes out and does a shoot promo on the Montreal recreation.
It's a shoot, bro.
Yep. He says the office only cares about dollars. They don't care about the boys. He says, we're told to come out here and entertain you guys, but they don't care. He said Bret Hart is a piece of crap. We sided with them. Goldberg got screwed. And it makes like a big and passionate speech that, like, they're ruining WCW. And we cut to Jeff Jarrett in the back, and he goes, "Oh, it's going down tonight. Are you sure?" He's talking to the powers that be in the limo. He goes, "Okay, cool, we're doing it tonight." This ends up being the reformation of the NWO.
Oh, yay,
so it's Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and Jeff Jarrett.
Good Lord. This is also, if I'm seeing this correctly, the debut of Daphne.
Yeah. And then Crowbar debuts the next week on Thunder. When they roll up to a gas station, he's the gas station attendant, and he's nuts too. And then,
get in, dude. We're going shopping. Yeah, apparently she jumps out of the crowd and starts beating the hell out of Jerry Only.
Yeah, they did they used to do this thing called like a Nitro party, like where someone would send in like a video of the Nitro party, and like, okay, we're gonna reboot it this week, and then they got a thing from Daphne, and she was in a room with like pictures of David Flair, like a shrine all over a wall, and she was going nuts. And that's how she was introduced, really, because then she jumps the rail on this one, like, oh my god, that's Daphne from that video from last week.
Yeah, I'm seeing this thing here. Jeff Jarrett delivers his patented guitar shot to Piper. This is at the very end of the show, by the way, leveling him. Bret Hart, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash then spray-painted NWO on both Goldberg and Roddy Piper. The NWO lives on. The band is back together. And the Bret Hart has fooled the world once again. Yeah, because it makes total sense for Bret Hart to join the NWO, because him and the Clique got along famously years ago. Well, that moves us on to December.
Well,
I'm sorry,
for some reason I go all the way to January 10th, so it must not have been that bad the next 2 weeks.
Well, what I'm seeing is on December 27th is the Lethal Lottery Tournament begins or takes place, whatnot. We've got here's a match for the ages, man. One of them butts and seats matches. Buzzkill and Mike Rotunda with Leah Meow and the Varsity Club defeated Dean Malenko and the Revolution, with the Revolution, and Conan with the Filthy Animals. Oh my gosh. That was a thing. Tank Abbott defeated Shane.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's see. Lethal Lottery Tag Team Tournament. Lash LaRue and Midnight, real tag team, defeated Harlem Heat. You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen. Lash LaRue and Midnight defeated the famous Harlem Heat. Bret Hart defeated Jerry Flynn for the WCW title. Yep, that happened. PG-13, which I didn't know they were in WCW, defeated Rick Steiner with Leah Meow and Berlin. Just some of these matches, man. All of these matches. All of them suck. Jeff Jarrett defeated Billy Kidman for the U.S. title. Apparently, what Creative Control. They are now known as the Harris Boys. I haven't seen any explanation as to why.
Nope, there is none. That was Big Ron and Heavy D.
Yep. Big Ron and Heavy D?
Yeah.
What the hell? Oh, and the main event is Lethal Lottery Tag Team Title Tournament match. Kevin Nash defeated Sid Vicious and The Wall. So it was a 2-on-1?
Yeah.
Wow. So I've noticed this in the Russo era since we have started this podcast. Every time there's a 2-on-1 handicap match, the one always wins.
Yep.
I don't get it. The main event on the Raw side this week, by the way, while all that BS was going on, was Triple H versus The Big Show for the WWF title.
Yeah, he beats him for it.
Yeah.
Let me jump to January 10th. This is the end of it. After Mayhem, I think. Yeah, or right before it. Anyways, so what I got on, I said, so the first thing that we see is Oklahoma being a huge sexist, saying women only belong in the kitchen, they shouldn't be on TV, and all this stuff. So now you're bringing sexism into the Russo era.
Wait, you said January? We're doing January 10th right now?
Yeah.
Oh. Trying to see if anything happened. Lethal Lottery finals happened the week before.
Yeah, it was nothing big. My favorite part of this, man, is like Jeff Jarrett has to face 3 guys, and they end up being 3 one-on-one matches. They end up being George the Animal Steel, Tito Santana, and Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Is this real life right now?
Yeah. And he's feuding with Terry Funk. And Terry Funk has a new group called the Old Age Outlaws.
Oh, my
so he brings
gosh.
out Larry Zbyszko, Paul Orndorff, and Arn Anderson.
Oh, my gosh. By the way, all 3 of those matches that Jarrett had against old guys, he lost. First one against George Steele was a bunkhouse brawl. Yep. Second match against Tito Santana was a dungeon match. And the final match against Jimmy Snuka was what else but a steel cage. God. Wow. Because, stipulations, bro.
Yeah.
By the way, I can't believe you totally skipped over January 3rd because the main event was David Flair and Crowbar defeating Kevin Nash and Big Papa Pump.
Generally, a lot of the matches were not really like the end of the show, so. But still.
Holy balls. It's just so much bad. Just to be fair, with some criticism, spreading it around evenly here on the WWF side, you know how I said the big wedding angle thing where Stephanie was forced to marry Triple H against her will happened on November 29th. 2 weeks later, Stephanie all of a sudden has turned to the dark side and is totally in love with Triple H.
She turned weeks before at Armageddon.
Oh, well, okay. So okay, it wasn't even like a week later, if that, or she decides, F it, I'll be a heel. I'm cool with it. So if we're gonna spread some crappity crap around here, I at least want to get some on the WWF side and not act like everything was all butterflies and rainbows over there. It wasn't as bad as what we're talking about with WCW, but it was pretty crappy.
Well, this one we just talked about would be the last Russo Nitro until April.
Oh.
I guess at Mayhem, or not Mayhem, Sold Out. It was supposed to be Bret Hart versus Sid and Benoit versus Jarrett. And I guess Bret was hurt from Starrcade. And Jarrett got hurt. So the only thing they could do was put Sid and Benoit together, I guess. But according to rumor and innuendo, Russo was going to have Tank Abbott win the title that night. And I guess someone vetoed it and said, hell no. And that was the end of Russo Chapter 1. So it ended up being Sid and Benoit. Benoit wins the title, but Sid's foot's under the rope. So it's vetoed the next night. And then the next Monday after that, Benoit, Malenko, and Guerrero jumped to Raw.
So what week was it that we're talking about? Because Sold Out was 17th, so January 25th.
Yeah. So basically January 10th was the last Nitro with Russo.
Huh. Benoit defeated Sid Vicious via submission for the heavyweight title. Via submission. Oh. Wow. Kevin Nash defeated Terry Funk, hardcore match. What the hell is a caged heat match?
I think it was just in a cage. That hardcore match was to be the president of WCW, or commissioner or something of WCW.
Wow. By the way, a caged heat match is apparently a Hell in a Cell match.
Well, all their cages had a roof on it, though. So, yeah.
Wow. So that's the old Southern style cage, I believe. Buff Bagwell beat Diamond Dallas Page in a last man standing match. Tank Abbott defeated Jerry Flynn. Booker T with Midnight defeated Stevie Ray by DQ. Billy Kidman defeated Perry Saturn, and Brian Knobbs retained the hardcore title against Fit Finlay.
What a match that was.
Oh, yeah. He beat Fit Finlay, Norman Smiley, and Meng in a fatal four-way hardcore match. Oklahoma defeated Medusa for the Cruiserweight effing title.
Yep.
Way to take a belt and just take a big poop all over it. Big Vito and Johnny the Bull with Disco Inferno defeated the Harris Brothers. I thought Disco was feuding with Vito and Johnny.
He was. He ended up being their slave, for lack of a better word.
Vampiro defeated David Flair and Crowbar in a handicap match, because another thing that Russo loves abusing the hell out of is handicap matches. And then Billy Kidman.
Oh, the 1-1, right?
Yeah, there you go. I told you. And then catch as catch can match, whatever the hell that is. Billy Kidman defeated Dean Malenko, because, that's a thing.
Well, here's the thing, too. I think this was the one where Kidman won, because it's supposed to be catch as catch can, like just a basic wrestling match. Yeah. And Kidman won because Dean Malenko stepped outside the ring.
That's right. I remember that. Because he slipped out of the ring and they were like, oh, it's over. Because Dean forgot.
Everybody was looking around like confused, and Dean Malenko just walked to the back. It's no surprise, by the way, that, like I said, the next week he's gone.
And then I see the cover of the DVD, or the VHS back then, I guess it could have been either. Well, it showed Kevin Nash like in an NWO shirt in the back, like faded out, and it says Nash versus Funk for Control. And then in front of him is a picture of DDP and Buff Bagwell beating each other up, and it says Control is everything.
Yeah. The whole thing was there was an alleged affair between Kimberly and Buff.
Well, I mean, did she have the money?
I don't know.
Because you know what his job is now, right?
Yeah, right.
For those of you not in on it, he is a male escort. He actually has a website, and he has his rates posted on said website. So
real news.
Yeah, real big league news. But yeah, so well, this was interesting. I want to say fun. I don't know.
Part 2 is coming. We're gonna have to split part 2 up into a couple of parts. It's this one's gonna be. We might actually just do episodic ones for each week, because it's that bad when he comes back. I'm serious.
Oh man,
we have to cover each Nitro. No, it's bad.
I'm gonna be wanting to pull my freaking hair out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was I was gonna say. I would say this was fun, but I'm still trying to process it in my brain what exactly emotions I'm feeling at said time. So yeah. Well, either way, this was an interesting journey down a terrible memory lane, but
sorry.
It was what it was. It was, we did this for you people. All right. We hope you enjoyed. I realize we went a little long here, but you got a lot of content, and I hope you laughed. I hope you cried. I mostly cried. I laughed to mask my crying. But yeah, and I didn't even have to watch it like you did. So good for you, I guess. But yeah,
I win.
Yeah, right. I don't know what you win. You win the game. But real quick, next week for our top 5, or for our top 10 list, I should say, we actually have 2 top 5 lists making up a top 10. It is the top 5 wrestlers that you used to hate but now love, and the top 5 wrestlers you used to love but now hate. I think.
Well, spoiler. I mean, I used to love Naked Mini, and now I hate him because he's gone. So
you hate him because he broke your heart. You ever see that movie Accepted?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one guy standing on top of it. He was like, "That's my ex-girlfriend down there. You broke my heart." That's you standing in front of Naked Midian's house. You had to go down a couple back alleyways and up a hill and hide behind a bush, and you could see him.
Oh my God!
With his fanny pack in the window.
Holy crap!
Oh my gosh! That's called a callback, people. Check it out in the archives on YouTube. Check out Ant Lover. That'll make you laugh and cry, just like this episode of the podcast did. But yeah, thanks for joining me, Greg.
Yeah, it was an experience.
We'll come at you with some news next week, y'all. Later.
This has been a Drama City production.